because of who. Come on, lift your hands all over the building, all over the room. Come on, lift your hands. Before we go into this song, just get something on your mind that God has done for you. And not just the actions of God, but who he is to you. Oh God. We thank the Lord that our relationship with him is not defined by what he does, but by who he is.
Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and say, Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are.
Lift your hand.
Because of who you
Because of who you
are.
are.
Because of who you are, I give you praise. Because of who you are, I will live. Lord, I worship you you just worship him for who he is? Not for what he's done, but because of who he is. Because you are a healer. Because you are a way maker. Because you are a bridge over troubled water. You're a heart fixer and a mind regulator. Come on, if you know anything about him, you ought to be able to worship him for who he's been to you, who he's been in your life, who he's been in your circumstance, who he's been in your situation. God, I worship you for keeping my mind. I worship you for keeping my heart. I worship you for being in the midst of my situation. I worship you for being who I need you to be when I need you to be. And I worship you for being God all by yourself. I worship you for being my Rapha. I worship you for being my Sikkenu. I worship you for being my Jireh. I worship you for being my King. I worship you for being my Lord and being my Savior. God, I worship you for being God all by yourself. Somebody lift up your hands. I worship you.
Yes, sir.
I worship you. 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 Yeah. Come on, lift up your hands. Open up your mouth. Give him glory. One more time, sing Jehovah Jireh, my provider. Jehovah Nissi, Lord, you reign in victory. Jehovah Jireh, Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Now come on, take 30 seconds and give him worship for who he is. Honor him for who he is. Bless him for who he is.
We're getting heavy cymbals.
Oh, come on, we can do better than that. You can't tell me that he's a mind regulator and you gonna open up your mouth and worship him for keeping you in your right mind. Do I have anybody in here that knows him to be Jehovah Rapha? If he's ever healed your body, if he's ever turned the situation around, if he's ever showed up on your behalf,
5.3.
when you should have been crazy, when you should have been depressed, when you should have lost your mind, when you should have been dead in your grave. Is there anybody in here that has experienced the God that I'm talking about? I need about 15 people